kids, comics. Silver-haired Bronze Age babe here, yakking about her comic book collection, and as promised, a follow-up to the past video about young love. I wanted to talk very briefly about a regular occurring feature of this comic book. Rather than letters to the editor column, they had romantic advice columns in these things. And in Young Love, it was Jane Ford, as Jane Ford sees it. She's kind of depicted as the, I don't know, librarian you sort of like, the guidance counselor who maybe is helpful, or, you know, the woman your mom knows from the junior league or something. It's people have supposedly written in with their romantic questions. If you read this over the long haul, you realize that everyone who writes in is very adept at sentence construction. And even though they say they're 13, they don't write like they're 13. So you have to take all this with a grain of salt. But Jane Ford really has kind of a very soft touch, and yet the unbearable smugness of someone who's talking down to 12 and 13-year-old girls. At one point, this letter is from someone who is claims to be in her 20s, and she fell in love with she's deaf. She fell in love with a deaf boy at school, but he kissed me, and then I really got excited about him, and then but he left for some other girl, and then another time I met another deaf boy at the club, and he kissed me, and I fell in love with him. And not long ago, I met a third fellow who speaks, but he's engaged. I didn't think I should see him again, but I do love him. Miss Ford, I am so frightened. I might never get married. I'm already in my 20s. Dear God, what do I do? She basically says, because you are shy, you are allowing yourself to, quote, fall in love too easily. I put those words in quotation because I doubt that you actually loved these three boys you thought you did. They kissed you, and presto, you fell in love. Dear Jane Ford, what do you think is going on in the pages of your own book? For example, here, as Nurse Mary Robin gets a date with Dr. Bill, Bill's changed from the way he was. He's telling me so in his kiss, but for love for always. One kiss, hey, fell in love, presto magico. So there's that. But then really, I think one of my favorites is Jane Ford giving what for to, there we go, 3 girls who write in to say, my best friend, a friend of hers, and I happen to like the same boy. I like him very much, but so do they. Soon I'll be moving away, and now my friends and I are mad at each other. Please tell me what we can do. Basically, she says, here the 3 of you are quarreling over something that doesn't belong to any of you. Well, yeah, that's right. Like 3 puppy dogs might quarrel over a plastic bone, and none of the 3 of them, were they left alone, would sniff at twice. It's like, okay, that's carrying the metaphor kind of long. But my favorite part of Jane Ford, aren't you ashamed of yourselves? That's as I see it, Jane Ford. So there you have it. There's the unbearable smugness of Jane Ford. And every time I open her page, I can't help but read every word. Thanks so much for stopping by. See you next time.